So it looks like you all really enjoy hearing me ramble and nerd about Persona collectibles, so let's do it again. As I said in part 1, Persona is a series that has been around for a very long time now, and as a result, a lot of interesting collectibles have spawned that range from impossible to find to so expensive you better hope you're raking it in like kinda Shiro to ever afford them. And today, we're gonna go over a bunch of them. Based on the comments of the last one, I've swapped to using sold listings for more accurate prices, and a lot of you wanted to see some Persona figures, so let's start there. We'll go from the least expensive to the most expensive in this case. And the first one on this list is the Persona 2 Lisa Silverman figure. Persona 2 has a few figures, but this one is the coolest one I could personally find. It was made by Good Smile Company, who have made a bunch of other Persona figures like these on screen, and this Lisa figure goes for about $100 to $200. It was made in 2011 to 2012, and it's not a terrible price honestly. I think this is a figure that the fans of the older Persona games could get behind for sure, and it's always cool to see it have some representation in this market. The next few figures on this list go for about the same price, and they're all equally cool in my opinion. So the next one I want to talk about is the Persona 4 Arena Mitsuru figure made by a company called Vertex. It has Mitsuru in her Shadow Operative's uniform, and damn, it is a very nice looking figure. Not only was there one made for her base color, but there was an alternate version for her color Tin Lychee from BlazBlue Alt. And you know, I think I can see why they would choose this color of all the ones she has. But if I say what I'm thinking, I'll probably get suspended off YouTube for 6 months, so I'll leave it there. Really though, the red on black color scheme is very aesthetically pleasing and it fits her well, and the figure is really well made. Both of these color variations go for anywhere around $250 to $300, or even higher since it's a lower volume item. Some are even selling for upwards of $600 as of the time of filming this. Even though I don't play Mitsuru in Arena, I would like to have this figure someday if I can find it for a good price. While we're on the topic of Persona 3, let's go over this figure of Aigis from Persona 3 Fest. This one is based off her design in The Answer, and interestingly it comes with Palladian, which is a very interesting choice if you played the game. But for the sake of not spoiling anything, I won't go any deeper than that. The figure itself is really dope though because she's riding Palladian like a surfboard or something. I can't think of a better analogy for it, but anyway, the details are great, and this figure goes for around $300 to $350 on average. Going on forward to some Persona 5 stuff is this figure of Makoto riding Johanna. Now, I'm not the biggest Makoto fan or anything, but I always thought her Persona design was one of the coolest in the series since she actually rode her Persona, and it tied in with her character as well. On the topic of the figure though, it's really high quality, and the fact Makoto is holding her revolver makes it hella badass. And honestly, it might be my favorite thing in this entire video alongside the Mitsuru figure I mentioned earlier. If you'd like to grab this figure, it sells for roughly $400 on average. Definitely no small sum of cash. And another Persona 5 figure that I like a lot that is a little bit cheaper is the Persona 5 Royal Akechi figure made by Lucria. This one has him in his black mask design from Royal. He has his signature sword, and it has a really nice stand on it with his Persona name and codename on it. This one sells for about $300 to $350 on average. Okay, just so we aren't here going over figures forever since there's damn near an unlimited amount of them, I want to go over just a few more before we go into the next section. And the next one will be the Persona 3 movie Yukari figure. This one has her in her Cease uniform with her evoker, and it's really nice as always. And this one sells for anywhere from $300 to upwards of $500. Next is the Thanatos Mega House figure. And damn, this one is super sick. Thanatos has his sword out, he's got that really cool blue aura, and overall it's just real stylish. But what isn't stylish is the price, cause this shit goes for about $400 to upwards of $700. Now, I know figures are expensive and all, but all I'm saying is that price point, bro. I'm good off that. The final figure I will go over is one of the most rare figures Persona has to offer, and it's the Arabian Armor Rise figure from Persona 4 Dancing made by Aquamarine. The outfit is really nice and Rise looks great and all, but just look at the price. I don't even have words for how expensive it is, and honestly the fact that one sold for that price is almost more surprising to me than anything else, but I won't be that guy who says what to do with your money, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. Alright, damn, we went over hella figures, so hopefully you enjoyed at least some of those, but now it's time to go over some more collector's edition. What do you think? Actually, why the hell am I even asking? I'm talking to myself here. So I'ma just assume you're on board, and if that's the case, consider dropping a like and a subscribe. It helps me out a lot, and I'll love you forever. The first collector's edition I want to go over is actually a cheap one because I've been focusing on the expensive ones too much. So let's go for something actually affordable. The Japanese limited edition version of Persona 4 Arena Ultimax on PlayStation 3 sells for about $10 to $20, and the slipcover for the game is so damn dope. It has Narukami with the P1 Grand Prix belt and a really shiny and flashy wave. And while this edition only came with some extra DLC that came on this beautiful piece of art, may I add, it's still a really great edition of the game that you can get for a good price. So honestly, I recommend trying to pick this one up if you get a chance in like Persona 4 at all. Going forward is another pretty cost-effective limited edition, and that is the Persona Dancing All-Star Triple Pack from Japan. This comes with the Persona 3 and Persona 5 dancing games on disc and a download code of Persona 4 Dancing. But there's a funny story behind this. The Persona 4 dancing codes all had expiration dates on them that have now passed by, and you can't buy the game on the PSN store. So this is technically the only piece of lost media for Persona 4 unless you already own it. And I'm proud to say your boy got that shit on lock. For the actual collection itself, it comes with a beautiful box to hold the games, and inside it has the soundtrack for Persona 3 and 5 Dancing. No Persona 4 Dancing soundtrack, which is a shame, but since the Crazy Value Pack on the Vita had that one, I guess they felt it redundant to add it here. This set goes for anywhere around $70 to $100, so actually a pretty good deal honestly, at least in my opinion. I really liked the dancing games and had a lot of fun with them, so I'm glad I was able to grab this. Now these next two items I'm pretty confident almost none of y'all will have known about, and they are the Persona Trinity Soul box sets. In case you aren't aware of what Trinity Soul is, because I wouldn't blame you at all for not knowing, it's an anime that takes place 10 years after Persona 3 in a futuristic alternate universe, and follows the high school student Shin Kanzanto. Trinity Soul is very forgotten and unknown by most, and the reception to it is mostly negative, but I'm not here to give a review of it, I just want to go over this set. To be honest, I think the box sets are actually pretty dope because Sojima's art style is just masterful, so they're naturally going to be pleasing to look at. And on eBay they average out to like $80 to what I can tell, so if you happen to be one of the few Persona Trinity Soul fans, maybe you should consider checking this out. Since I talked about Persona Q's Collector's Edition in the first video, I figured it would only be natural to mention its sequel in this one, so let's do just that. Persona Q2 had a Collector's Edition called the Showtime Premium Edition. It came with a game, an art book, some pins for the protagonists, playing cards, and best of all, a Koromaru plush. Look at him, just standing there being all cute and shit. Overall, it has most of what you would expect, and this one sells for roughly $150 to $200, which is pretty damn high honestly, but I would love to have it someday nonetheless. There ain't too many more I want to go over in this part of the video, so we'll go over a couple more before we get into the finale of the rarest and most expensive things I could find for this part. This is one a lot of you are probably familiar with, or at least know about, and that's the Take Your Heart edition of Persona 5. This version of the game came with the game in a steelbook case, a soundtrack CD, an art book, the Shujin school bag, and unfortunately, a Morgana plush. I say unfortunately cause that cat, but that's just me of course. It goes for roughly $100, which is actually a great price in my opinion, but other than that, there's not too much more I want to say about that one. It's just really dope. But this next thing is really special and unique. So alongside the release of Persona 3 Reload, ATLUS teamed up with a company called Height to make a computer case with all of the characters' bust-ups on it. And I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, I think this shit is pretty damn amazing. On the back, it has the protagonist's battle portrait with butterflies around it, and overall, it is just a really aesthetically pleasing case, and it has really good functionality to it as well. I won't act like it's the best case ever, but if you're a Persona fan, you really can't go wrong with picking this up if you so wish. Unless that big ass $230 price tag is too much, at which point I would certainly understand. The final 4 items we're going to go over now are the rarest and or most expensive things I could personally find, and I think these are even more rare and cool than the ones in the first part. To kick things off, let's start with the Persona 3 Portable Trade demo for the PSP. I won't lie to y'all though, I have literally zero information about this thing. I don't know what it was made for, I don't know when it was made, I don't even know what's on it. I just know that it exists, and there's only one listing online I could find of it at all, and that doesn't provide much information either. I even went out of my way to check the ISO via emulation, and after playing a bit of it, it seems more or less the same. So honestly, your guess is just as good as mine. My guess is that it's just a build for people to test before the game came out, but if anyone has information on this thing, please let me know because I would love to learn more about it. I just realized Persona 4 has gotten very little love in this video, so if you wanted to see some more, then don't worry, I got you with this one. So back when Persona 4 on PlayStation 2 was coming out, Amazon had an exclusive collection for the game called the Persona 4 Social Link Pack. And in the years I've looked for Persona stuff, I didn't know about this until some of you commented on part 1 informing me about it, so thank you all very much for that. This thing apparently was selling out even back when it came out, so it is extremely low volume and hard to find today. This pack came with a 2009 Persona 4 themed calendar, a shirt with Konohana Sakuya on it, the Side B soundtrack, and a Teddy plush. If you're able to find even one of the items out of the pack, it tends to be pretty pricey, but finding the whole thing complete, it's quite difficult to do. I can't even put a good price estimate on it because it's just so rare, so it can vary a lot. But for it being $30 standalone on its own back then, if you were a big Persona fan back then, it would have been a pretty dope thing to get alongside the game itself. Alright, these last two items are basically the magnum opus of Persona collecting. If you have these, then you're basically Makoto Christ incarnate because these things are something else. So around the time Persona 4 Animation was being released, a Dolphy doll was made for Rise. And I can't even lie to y'all, bro, this shit makes me really uncomfortable to look at. It almost feels like this doll has a soul and it's just staring deep into me begging for help. It's like the most uncanny thing I've ever seen when it comes to Persona, so it makes it cool in a way. I wasn't lying about what I said though, because I have found one single listing of this remaining online, and it goes for about $2,500. Now, I'll give credit where it's due. This thing is very well made and high quality, but dude, $2,500 for this soul tormenting thing?
Fuck no, baby!
The final item on this list, while not exactly as extravagant as the Rise doll or even some of the other things on this list, it's by far even more rare. When Persona 3 was coming out back in the day, apparently there was a collaboration that ATLUS did with the audio company Audio Technica, and they made a Persona 3 branded version of their ATH EM700 headphones. And it's clear to see why they chose these. They resemble their Protax headphones basically one-to-one, and they're probably what they used to base it off of. The thing is though, there is very little information about this either, but from what I could tell, it came with a bag that had a Gekkoukan High School branding on it, and that's more or less the extent of the knowledge I have of this thing. From what I can tell, these things are basically extinct. I have never been able to find a listing of this, but if you all have any more information on it, as always, please comment and let me know. It's quite crazy how little information there is on this thing though. And the fact that I genuinely can't find not one single listing of it makes it easily the rarest thing on this entire list, and one of the rarest Persona related items to ever exist for absolute sure. And with all of that covered, that wraps up part 2 of the rarest, coolest, and most expensive Persona collectibles I could find. Was there anything I missed that you feel should have been included? Feel free to let me know in the comments below. Also, I just want to say thank you all so much for the support on the first part, it means a lot. And hey, if this part does well, I'm more than happy to continue this into a part 3. These are really fun to make and you all seem to enjoy them as well. That's it from me though. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider liking and subscribing for some more great Persona content to come in the future. It's been your boy Yandere Gogeta, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out and have a great day.